Americans have power to make change through free speech. Free speech has always been the foundation of the American agenda. It was the First Amendment, meaning that it has to be important. Recently, what the Founding Fathers built up is slowly being torn down, like ways such as in the social media system, as big influencers are getting taken down. I've always had an interest in free speech. This is because there were so many pressures stopping me from saying what I wanted to say. I just didn't believe it was real. Especially in a classroom, I was confused. Because if there was free speech, then why wasn't I able to talk when I wanted? Something which recently came to mind was why people were being banned of social media, deplatformed and reduced to nothing within seconds for their opinion, which is freedom of speech. Freedom of speech connection to the Constitution states, in Congress specifically, is prohibited by making a law in respect or prohibiting the freedom of speech. The government's idea of freedom of speech is that the government cannot punish you for sharing your ideas and opinions. Notice how it specifically says government. Laws which restrict the freedom of speech are fighting words and laws against obscenity and indecency. Fighting words meaning inciting violence, and obscenities meaning things such as child pornography. The government has checks on this because fighting words can cause serious problems such as death or even injuries, and obscenities fuel a business which benefits nobody and puts people at risk. I believe the government is moving in the right direction because fighting words and obscenities are more wrong than right. In August 1998, Barry Black led a Ku Klux Klan rally, which ended the rally by burning a cross. Virginia brought Black to a court, and Black appealed to the Supreme Court, which resulted in Black winning because it deemed that burning a cross was constitutional, as opposed to Virginia's claim that it wasn't, in the idea of it being inciting violence. I believe this is a step in the right direction, because even though the Ku Klux Klan is a terrorist group, I find it admirable that the Supreme Court did not fold given the time, because it was recent. And by doing so, they defended the freedom of speech. H.L. Mencken was a man who contributed to the original policy of free speech. H.L. Mencken opposed a law which was passed to ban the theory of evolution to be taught in schools because the prosecutor stated that it was a religion. I believe that this was in the right direction, that H.R. Mencken objected this and turned over the prosecution because the theory of evolution was a proven theory and it was a fact, while religion relied on faith. I believe this person had a positive impact in the policy of free speech because he really set the limit between what was allowed and what wasn't, and these limits need to be set for there to be knowing like what is right and what is wrong and what is the border. Elon Musk, the owner of Twitter, applies his political views on his Twitter policy. His ideology is that people on the internet should also have the rights as people in the real world. Before Elon Musk, Twitter was more of a liberal organization which would ban people who they saw as unfit to be on their platform, such as people like Andrew Tate and Donald Trump, who were recently banned off Twitter. The excuses used for Donald Trump were encouraged to those potentially considering violent acts. After Elon Musk took over Twitter, Donald Trump and Andrew Tate got back their accounts to re-influence people. I believe that Elon Musk is moving the world in a positive direction because he allows for people to express their problems, and by unbanning them, he allows them to have their audience waiting for them right within their hands. It allows people to argue and settle their problems, which is why, in the first place, most of them got banned, because their ideas conflicted with others. Something new which I know, or something that I could take away from this class, was I learned more about my rights. As before, some of them were unclear to me. For example, my freedom of speech, or my rights in school, as they were not explained to me, which should be a requirement. Going forward, I will learn to know my rights, because when the time comes when I need them, they will be necessary for me to know. And I will also know what to prosecute if something does go wrong. Thank you for watching.